Today on In the Woodyard, we're talking about inventory, how I track it, how I know how much I have, how I know what I've got. Here we go. So I get asked on the channel all the time, Chris, you've got a lot of wood here, and I got a little bit. People ask me, how do you keep track of the wood? How do you know what kind it is? How do you know how old it is? How do you know how dry it is? How do you know where to get the wood from that you're delivering? And it's a good question. I have a couple hundred full cords, maybe more, maybe less, I don't know. I got wood coming and going constantly. We're constantly delivering, we're constantly getting more logs in, constantly renewing it, moving wood from one spot where I'll sell it out, it'll be empty, and then we fill it up with a different kind of wood because I need the space in the bin, that kind of stuff. So it's pretty constant. And I guess the simple answer would be is that I am out here making the wood, splitting the wood, cutting the wood, putting it in the bins almost every day. And because I'm here all the time, I kind of know what's here. I can look at a piece of wood at any stage of the process, if it's drying, if it's fresh cut, if it's weathered, turning gray, I can look at it and identify it because I look at every single piece that I am handling when it goes into the trailer, when it goes into the bin, when it goes through the processor, when I cut it with a chainsaw. So I specifically try to work with, a certain kind of wood in bunches. So I'm making that kind of wood, and it's going to go in that particular spot. This bin right here, for instance, this is 90% ash. So this will be sold either as ash or mixed hardwood because there is some elm in here, there is some maple in here. And because this didn't just happen in 10 minutes and I walked away, this is days, weeks of work in this pile here. There's probably, 30 full cords in here, something like that. It's a bunch of wood. And because there's so much wood in here, I got to know what it is. So before the wood is taken to the customer, if I'm going to a new pile, I will dig into it, 3-4 feet, pull out a bigger chunk, split it in half. And when I split it in half, I take a moisture meter and I test it to make sure that I know what it is. I want to know, is it 25%, 20%, 15% moisture content? I basically want to be able to take it to the customer and know for sure that there's going to be no issues. There's going to be no problems with them not having it burn. It's going to burn. It's going to be good to go because the people I sell to aren't stocking up for next winter for the most part. I do have some people that do that, but the vast majority of people that I sell to, what they're doing is they're buying wood for tonight's fire. So I have to know that what I've got here is ready to go for them because there's a lot of people that I sell to, they don't stock up wood. They're having a party on the weekend and they want to sit out on the patio and consume some adult beverages and entertain. They want wood that's going to burn now. They don't want it to, next year. They don't want something that they're going to try to light and it just sits there and smolders and smokes and that kind of thing. So when I deliver the wood, they want it to burn now. So these piles I'm walking past that you're seeing, I'm just kind of walking around the bins here. For the most part, all this wood is a different type. This is all red oak. The bin right over there, that's all cherry. So I kind of put specific kinds together, and when I put it into the bin, I know when it was put in there for the most part, because I can look at it and say, oh yeah, I know this pile right here, that was put in there in March of this last winter. And it was from dead standing wood that was cut and split, and that whole pile is stuff that when I put it in there was probably 50% dry. So I know that now, being the middle of summer, it's probably ready to be sold. The stuff on top for sure is because it's the sun and wind is hitting it all the time. This also is 100% all red oak. There might be a stick or two of white oak in there, but it's mostly red oak is what's in there. Once in a while you'll get a piece from somewhere else, that gets thrown in, but that's what it is, because I'll have customers that are very specific and they will want a certain kind of wood. They will want hickory because they're going to smoke meat. They're going to want cherry because they're going to smoke meat. They're going to want white oak because they're going to smoke meat. Or it's someone that heats with wood in their whole life. They've had one kind of wood that they have used because their dad used oak. So they're going to use oak. Their grandpa used oak, so they're going to use oak. Their neighbors use oak, so they're going to use oak. In their woods that they had growing up had oak trees, so they think oak is firewood because that's the only kind of wood they're familiar with. This is beech right here, so this is all beech, all the way up to right here. And then everything from here down is ash. Now, some would say, oh, but there's no divider. I don't need a divider because beech looks like this, ash looks like this. Very simple to tell it apart. So when I get to the middle here, when I'm putting the wood in to deliver, if someone wants all beech, I just make sure I don't grab any ash when I get in there. If they want ash, I know when I get to here, I don't put it in. Most people, however, aren't gonna be complaining and be upset if one little piece of wood is somehow mixed in with the wood that they got. A piece or two here or there, it's not a big deal. If it's 99% of what they ordered, they're happy. And most people don't know. That's the other thing. A lot of people don't realize is that when your customers are ordering wood, I would say 90% of them have no clue of what kind of wood they're getting. Because I'll have people that will ask me when I get there, they're like, so that wood you delivered, I ordered oak. Was that all oak? Because I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know the difference. And I'll say, yeah, well, it was oak. I'll show them a lot of times. I'll pull pieces out and I'll show them and say, okay, now this is white oak, this is red oak, this is kind of what it looks like. Some people that get mixed hardwood, they'll just say, no, what kind of wood is this? I said, well, number one, the most important thing is dry wood. It's ready to burn, but it is something like this. This is all hard maple right here. This is all new wood that's been put in here, all hard maple in this bin. So it is kept separate. The bin right across on the other side over here is oak. And then behind that, there's mixed hardwood. So this is all oak in this bin. This is all red oak right in here. And then if we come around over to this side, there is a divider right here. You can't see it because it's kind of covered up, but there's a divider of pallet that goes across here to separate the red oak from the ash, because there's ash on this side. And the red oak is over here. So when I dig this out, if I see a piece of oak that went over there, I'll grab it, throw it in. If there's a piece of ash and I'm delivering ash, I'll grab it from there and put it in. So you just got to know the wood. And a lot of people will ask me, how do you know every piece of wood, you know, what kind it is? Because I do this a lot. That's how. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And I specifically try really hard to look at every single piece that I grab to throw into the trailer or the truck for delivery, and I try to identify it. And if I don't know, it bothers me, because I want to know what kind of wood people are getting. I want to be able to tell them, yeah, this is 50% ash, 50% maple, maybe a few sticks of some cherry. That's what I want to do. This is a brand new bin. This is all white oak, all of it, 100% white oak. I shouldn't say that. There could be a 0.5% in here, something like that, of some red oak. I know there was a few pieces I saw, but this is primarily white oak in this bin. That's what we put in here. And there's a bunch of wood there. So I keep the wood separate so that when people see it, they know they're getting the right kind of what they ordered. And white oak is one of those things that is mostly a wood that people want for smoking meat. But if someone wants oak and I'm out of red oak, they're going to get some white oak, because again, they don't really know the difference. So for the most part, some people do. Every once in a while you'll get someone will look at it and say, hey, I ordered oak, there's a piece of ash in here. And I said, well, you can either have it or I'll take it if you don't want it. I said, I did throw some extra in. And they're like, oh, no, that's fine. I see there was some ash in here. This is red oak right here, this finished stuff. That's a bunch of tree service stuff. We're going to walk over here and I'm going to show you a bunch of hickory, because I do have some hickory and I do now have some pine. So this right here is all hickory. This is all stuff that was done early in the spring. So this is all dry now. This faces south all the time. So all this is dry. This right here is a bunch of spruce. Has all been cut and split just in the last week. This here will be dry literally in a month or two, because it dries super fast. Pretty much all the pine that I have will dry extremely fast. And when I say pine, I mean spruce, I mean hemlock, I mean white pine, red pine, jack pine, balsam, juniper, fir. That's pine. Anything that's softwood gets mixed in. Here we have some sticks of hickory. This is shagbark hickory. So you can see this has all been piled together. And the reason for that is when it gets processed, I want to keep it together. This here is all ash. So when this gets processed, this will all stay together. So even when we order logs, we try to keep it somewhat together by species, or if we get a mixed pile like you see over here, this has everything in it. This has some basswood, there's box elder, there's poplar or aspen, there is spruce, there is, let's see, what else can I find in here? Here's some right here. This is hickory right here. Here's more poplar. Oh, this could be cottonwood too. Looks like it might be cottonwood. There's a bit of everything in here. More hickory, more hickory. Here's some elm right here. So here we are on the other side. There's hard maple in here, more hickory right here. Here's more ash. Here's some more pine. So it's all mixed up. So as we pull this out of the pile and we process it, we will separate it by species for the most part. Now, one of the things a lot of people ask me is like, what is in your, and this is my customers speaking and some of the people that watch the channel, what is in your mixed hardwood? My mixed hardwood is everything that isn't pine or a softwood, which means there's not going to be any white, red, or jack pine. There's not going to be any spruce, whether that's black, white, or blue. There's not going to be any balsam in there, which we have. There's not going to be any hemlock. There's not going to be any juniper. There's not going to be any cedar. No evergreen trees is going to be in my mixed hardwood. But I do separate out most of the time. I separate my stuff out and I'll put in, like if I've got white oak. Most of the time if I have something like red oak, I see a bunch of it, I'll separate that out. So the white oak gets separated and put into the red oak bin. If I have hickory, that's going to go into the hickory pile. If I have cherry, it's going to go into the cherry pile. If I have hard maple, it's going to go into a hard maple pile. The beech I try to keep separate. Any other oak species, whether it's a red oak or a black oak or a pin oak, I put that in with the red oak pile. The hard maple, a lot of times I will get a few sticks of ironwood, which is also known as hornbeam. That stays with the hard maple because it's very similar as far as BTUs. Actually, it's the hottest burning wood we have here in Wisconsin. But I don't get very much of it. And people will ask me, how come you don't separate your ironwood out? Well, we get very little of it. I might get a cord or two a year. And to me, it's just not worth having that as a separate species. Yeah, I could separate it. I could charge more for it. I could tell everybody it's the hottest, best burning wood there is. And I could charge maybe another $10, $20 per cord. I don't know. I could do it, I suppose, if I had any kind of volume, but I don't get enough volume of it. Same as applewood. I just mix that in with the mixed hardwood because I don't get enough of it to make any kind of volume. I know people that do it. Got a guy not too far from here, Travis. He does it. He separates his applewood out because he's got a lot of customers that smoke meat and they want either white oak or cherry or hickory or applewood. He's got a good little business selling that kind of stuff. I just don't want to take the time, kind of lazy, I guess, or put the effort into it. So in my mixed hardwood, you're going to see, I'm going to try to think off the top of my head the stuff I put in. You're going to see a lot of ash right now because there's a lot of ash trees dying, so we're getting a lot of ash in. So that's going to be the primary wood that goes into my mixed hardwood. You're going to see soft maple because I keep that separate from the hard maple because people that are truly addicted to hard maple don't want any soft maple because the hard maple is a little better and they want to make sure they're getting what they pay for. So the hard maple and the soft maple are separate. So in the mixed hardwood, you're going to have ash, you're going to have soft maple, you're going to have elm. There might be some aspen in there because it is, a lot of people think, oh, aspen, that's a softwood. It's a softer wood, but it is hardwood. It's the deciduous trees, lose their leaves, it's a hardwood. There's going to be birch in there. We have some birch right here. You can see some birch logs in here. That's obviously easy to see. There could be white birch, yellow birch, river birch, any of that could be in there. Like I said, soft maple. There could be box elder, and a lot of people think, oh, box elder, that's a trash tree, that's a tree line tree, no one should be cutting that. Well, you know what? It's about the same BTUs as birch, cherry, soft maple, and it's a member of the maple family, and it burns great in a fire pit and a fireplace. Yeah, it might not be a good heating wood for some people. It's more of a wood that's average, but it burns great because all wood burns. Also, there might be some basswood in there, which is not a great heating wood, but it burns. It's okay for firewood for in a fire pit or a fireplace. So it's going to be all the stuff that's not the higher quality wood or the specialty wood. That's what goes into my mixed hardwood mix stuff. All the stuff that doesn't really fit anywhere else. So there you go. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it for today. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning with another video for you. If you like what you just saw, I've got 1,900 videos on my channel waiting for you to watch. If you want to go look at them, there's 5 years worth of video every day. There's going to be another one tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. Right now, you're going to subscribe and go watch some more videos. Good night, Irene.